Hello and welcome to another little clip from Thaden Boys Preschool, and today I'm going to be doing some science again. So before I do my science, because it's a preschool science and experiment, I need my preschool coat on, my science coat. All right. Now, today I thought we would try and do some milk fireworks. Sounds exciting? Good. But there are quite a few things you're going to need to be able to do this. And the first and probably most important is a cloth to go on wherever you're doing this, just in case you spill anything and make a bit of a mess. So you need a cloth or a plastic cover for your table. To start with, you're going to need a dish, and then you need a dish with a bit of a lip because we're going to put our milk in here and we don't want it to spill. Next, we're going to need some colours. So I've used some watercolour colours, and I've got these little tubes that I've mixed with water. But you need a liquid that will drip, so quite a runny mixture that will drip. If you haven't got watercolours, you could use some food colouring. The only problem with food colouring is it can be really, really messy, and if you get it on your fingers or your clothes, it does stain quite easily. So I would probably stay away from that. But if you haven't got any other paints, you could use that. Now, as in science, experiment. Try different kinds of paint if you've got them around. Maybe you've got watercolours, maybe you've got acrylic paints, maybe you've got food colouring. Have a go at different ones, but just remember it might make a mess. Okay, what else do we need? We need some cotton buds. So I've got some cotton buds here, and we need some washing up liquid. We need some milk, and again, experiment with what kind of milk you use. So I've got the blue lid, which is full fat milk. I've got a cup of water, and I've got some different coloured paints mixed up, which were the watercolours you saw over there. Now, I've also got some things called pipettes. Now, pipettes are great because what I'm going to need to do is drip the coloured paint into the milk. So these are great for doing that. And what you have to do is you have to squeeze the end in, which pushes all the air out of the tube, put it in your water, and then release. And that sucks up the water, which means I can then drip it back in, and I have more control over how much goes into the milk. So you squeeze the air out, release to suck up your liquid, and then drip it out. Now, if you haven't got pipettes, you might have some old one of these. Okay, so you need to ask your adult if there's any old clean ones of these, and these work a bit similar to the pipettes, except we're going to suck the liquid up by drawing out this middle bit. So I'm going to suck all the liquid up there, and then as I press that back in again, the liquid drips out, and again you have a little bit more control over how much liquid goes into your milk. Now, if you haven't got any of those, you can use the cotton buds, and all you have to do is squeeze it at the end to drip it in. Or again, it's an experiment. See what you can find. See what you can use to drip your paint in. Maybe a spoon, maybe your finger. I don't know, but if you are going to use your finger, or actually for any of this, it's quite handy to have a cloth. I've got a wet cloth here that I can just wipe my hands with and clean them, and then dry them again. Right, so let's start the experiment. I'm going to start by using some milk, and you don't need loads, you just need it to cover the bottom of your container. So there we are, there's my milk. I'm going to pop the bubbles because I don't really want big bubbles in here. Right, now the next thing is I'm going to put my paints in there, and I think the easier way for you to see that is if I pause the camera and I put it over the top so you can see what I'm doing. So let me come and grab the camera. Okay, I'm looking down on the milk now, and what I'm going to do is put the colours in. So I can show you the colours I've got here. Right, have a look at those. What colours can you see? Go on, shout out for me. Brilliant. So let's move that out of the way for a minute. So what colour is this? It's pink. What colour is this? It's hard to see, isn't it? Because it's very dark in there. This is actually a green. What about this one? Red. This one? Blue. This one? Yellow. And you might see up the sides there. Again, it's quite dark. What is this? That's right, it's a purple. So I'm going to start by getting one of my pipettes. And I'm going to start with the green. So I'm going to squeeze the end, release it to suck up the liquid. I've got my green there, and I'm going to drip it into my milk. Right, now I don't want to mix my colours, so I'm going to clean my pipette by squeezing it and getting rid of all that green paint. That's going a little bit green in there now. Right, what other colour shall I use? I think some blue. Squeeze the pipette, suck up the blue. Oh, that didn't work. Squeeze the pipette, suck up the blue, and let's empty that in there as well. Wow, that made a bit of a splodge, didn't it? That looked a bit like a firework. Right, next colour. I think some purple. Squeeze it, suck it, and drip it in. Right. I think one more colour, and we'll do a red. Squeeze it, suck it, and drip it in. Right. So I've got all my colours in there. I've got green, blue, purple and red. But they don't really look like fireworks, do they? So I've got to add something else to make them explode into fireworks. And that's going to be my washing up liquid. So in here, I have some washing up liquid. You might just be able to see it. And I've got a cotton bud. And I'm going to use my cotton bud to touch where the paint is on the milk to hopefully make a firework. So what do you think is going to happen? In science, we have to ask questions. So what is going to happen? Do you think the paints are going to explode like a firework? Do you think they're going to stay looking the same? Do you think they're all just going to mix together? Right. Time for the experiment. Let's take a look. Right, I've got the washing up liquid on my cotton bud. Let's go. Whoa. They are exploding, aren't they? Right, I think I might get a little bit more washing up liquid. See if it'll do any more. Or it might have had its day. Right, well they definitely did explode. And now I can just use my cotton bud to move the paints around. And they've turned into a lovely marble effect. Well, there's another experiment. You could try putting a bit of paper on that and see if you could make a picture from it. If you laid the paper flat on there and then carefully lifted it up, would it make a lovely picture? All right, I'm going to pop you on pause and put you back over the side so I can see you. So that was great, wasn't it? But we need to ask another question. Why did the washing up liquid make the paints explode in the milk? Well, the answer to that is that the washing up liquid, the soap in it, is attracted to fat, and milk has fat in it. Now, I used a blue lidded milk, and that actually says on it that it's got whole fat. It's got a lot of fat content in there. And what the soap is trying to do is find that fat content. So where the paint is in the milk, it's got in the way. So it pushes the paint out of the way to go and find that fat in the milk, which makes it look like it's exploded. Right, let's do another one, shall we? I'm going to get rid of that cotton bud because that is pretty yucky. Excuse me, and I'm going to get rid of our tray. Now, I've got a bigger tray, so I'm going to put that there. I'm going to just angle the camera down so you can see this a bit better. Right, so hopefully you can see our lovely tray. Again, it's got a lip on it because what I want to do is pour some milk in there, and I don't want the milk to escape. There we go. So I'm going to mix that all the way around. There we go. So that's covering the whole of our tray. It's not a lot, it's only just covering it. And what we need to do now is add our colours. So I'm going to use this time just to show you how it works. So let me see, what colours didn't we use last time? We didn't use yellow. So I'm going to put a yellow in. Suck the yellow up. Put the yellow in a couple of places. Give that a clean. Right. What next? I reckon we'll do a green. Okay, clean that. Purple next. That looks good already, doesn't it? Whoop, that was a big splodge. Right, I'm going to use my pipettes. I'm going to get some blue. And finally, I think a lovely red right in the middle. Right, so we've got all our colours, different colours there, ready to go. Now, what did we do? We got our cotton bud. We mixed it with some washing up liquid. And remember what's happening this time. The washing up liquid is trying to find the fat in the milk. So let's have a go. Wow, well the green and the purples definitely spread out. The red is starting to go now. Right, I'm going to try and move the cotton bud through the paint now, see what happens.